After weeks of investigation and speaking to a significant number of Cryptozoo victims, we've taken legal action against Cryptozoo Incorporated, Logan Paul, Danielle Strobel, Jeff Levin, Eddie Ibanez, and Jake Greenbaum, alleging fraud, express breach of contract, implied breach of contract, unjust enrichment, violation of Delaware's prohibited trade practices, negligence, fraudulent misrepresentation, and conspiracy to commit fraud. In today's video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the case, specifically two major clauses in Cryptozoo's terms and conditions that I think consumers deserve to know about. Additionally, I'm going to be going over Logan Paul's recent 3-step plan and the major problems with it. Now, before I continue on with this video, I just want to disclaim at this point in time, I represent a significant number of Cryptozoo victims. And if any of y'all have watched my channel before, you know I always try to provide objective legal analysis. But obviously, as the lawyer for these victims, I have an interest in advocating on their behalf. So please use that information and use your judgment as you see fit. Okay, let's get into it. And I want y'all to pay attention right now because this is arguably the most important part of the video. When lawyers like myself analyze a potential litigation, we have to work through the logistics. And when we're asking ourselves what the legal logistics of a potential litigation look like, we ask a couple of questions. First, we ask, where is the appropriate venue to bring the claim? And second is, if we have the appropriate venue and we have multiple plaintiffs, can we group the plaintiffs together? And the reason why I'm telling you this is because based on our information and belief, the Cryptozoo terms and conditions have two major clauses that affect a victim's ability to pursue legal action. The first is an arbitration clause. The second is a class action waiver. For anybody who doesn't know, forced arbitration is a provision in certain contracts that requires disputes between the parties to be resolved through arbitration rather than the court system. This means that if a dispute arises, the parties must work with a neutral third party, the arbitrator, to come to a resolution, rather than going to court and having a judge or jury decide the case. Additionally, a class action waiver is a provision in certain legal contracts that prohibits individuals from joining together as a group to bring a legal action, such as a class action lawsuit. This means that if a dispute arises, each individual must pursue their own claim individually, rather than joining together with others who have similar claims to bring a class action lawsuit. Here's what we believe to be Cryptozoo's terms and conditions. Although it's no longer on the website, thanks to the Wayback Machine, we can take a look. And I'm not going to read it all because y'all will get bored. But it says, for residents of the United States and other jurisdictions that enforce binding arbitration, you and Cryptozoo agree that any dispute, claim, or controversy between you and Cryptozoo arising in connection with or relating in any way to these terms or to your relationship with Cryptozoo as a user of the service will be determined by mandatory binding individual arbitration. And further down below, we get some more relevant information as well. Again, they are really emphasizing this individual capacity. There will be no consolidated action, which is when you bring multiple claims together, unless both parties agree to it in writing. So clearly that is something they do not want. Further down, we get some more logistical information. Logistical, is that a word? We get some more information on the procedure that we are going to have to go through. Here it says that the arbitration association assigned to these claims is going to be the Judicial Arbitration and Mediation Services, or JAMS. This is a very popular and highly used arbitration service, the JAMS service. And the seat and venue of the arbitration is the state of Delaware. The arbitration will be conducted before one commercial arbitrator from JAMS with substantial experience in resolving commercial contract disputes. Okay, so to recap, there is a forced arbitration provision and a class action waiver in their terms of service. I do not want to suggest to you that just because a company puts something in their terms and conditions, that term or condition is automatically enforceable. In fact, I think there are quite a few terms and conditions present in the Cryptozoo agreement that I believe are unenforceable. And on top of that, I think that these terms and conditions as a whole might be unenforceable for a certain class of people. But the whole reason why I brought up this legal procedure issue is because if you are a Cryptozoo consumer, there is a reasonable chance that you are subject to these arbitration and class action waivers, meaning there might not be a public class action settlement where you can just receive some sort of notice, fill out a claim form, and receive whatever potential compensation you may or may not be entitled to. At the time of releasing this video, my team and I currently represent victims from all over the world, ranging from consumers who lost a couple $100s to over $100,000. Additionally, we have officially filed our first arbitration action, and we anticipate many more arbitrations will be opened up in the near future. So because these clauses are in place, there is a situation in which we may have to go to Delaware and arbitrate case after case after case after case after case after case, and so on. And that is something we are prepared to do. Now, with that said, if you are a Cryptozoo victim, I recommend that you go talk to a lawyer that you trust. It does not need to be me or my team. Just go talk to a lawyer, because this might not be a situation where you can just sit back and wait. Okay, moving on. I anticipate a lot of people are going to have questions regarding legal action because of the proposed 3-step plan that Logan Paul just put forward. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm going to play the most relevant parts of this announcement, and then we will discuss.
I'd like to announce my 3-step plan moving forward. Step 1, Jeff and I are going to burn our Zoo tokens so we have no financial upside in the game, and it will add value to holder tokens. Step 2, we want to offer a rewards program for players who are disappointed in the status of the game. So essentially, you're going to be able to burn your base egg or your base animal for the mint price, which was 0.1 ETH or the equivalent in BNB. I am personally committing 1,000 ETH to this, which is about $1.3 million right now for players who want to get out. And then step 3, obviously finish and deliver the game as outlined in the white paper by completing the egg bridge from ETH to BSC for base animals and base eggs, completing the marketplace, and obviously completing the releasing your animals into the wild to accrue your yield function. To say I am disappointed in how this was handled internally is an understatement. There's a full internal investigation going on along with an audit, and we are going to pursue full legal action for whomever needs to be held accountable.
Okay, so real quick, I want to address a couple of the problems that I see with Logan's 3-step proposal. First is the refund only accounts for people who have base NFTs and base animals. It says nothing about individuals who have Zoo token or hybrid animals, and that's really important because there are people who lost thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in the Zoo token. And according to Logan Paul, they are not entitled to any sort of refund. The second issue that I want to take note of is there are a lot of people who had the Zoo NFTs, the eggs, that then sold because the product was a complete bust. There is no form of compensation for them laid out in Logan Paul's 3-part plan. And the last thing I want to take note of is the refund is not equivalent to what they bought their eggs for. At the time the Cryptozoo mint went public, 0.1 ETH was worth roughly $350, give or take. Now, 0.1 ETH is worth $150. To recap the refund situation. First, Logan Paul is only willing to refund people who still have their base NFT egg or animal. He is not willing to refund those who have Zoo token or who might have sold their NFTs at a loss. Additionally, the price of the refund, 0.1 ETH, is roughly the equivalent between 20 and 35% of the value of 0.1 ETH when the game initiated. So to me, this offer by Logan Paul doesn't come close to making things right. And the last thing I want to talk about with respect to Logan Paul's 3-part plan is his plan for the future. I know it's only been a couple of hours, but since Logan Paul released this video, Zoo token and Cryptozoo somehow went even lower. I didn't know that was actually possible, but the price has plummeted because I think anybody can infer from Logan's actions that he is basically doing the bare minimum to keep up appearances, and there's really no passion behind this project. So to conclude, if you are a Cryptozoo victim, go talk to a lawyer, please. And if you want to talk to my team and I, you can email us at contact@attorneytom.com, or you can just go to attorneytom.com and fill out an inquiry. All right, talk to y'all later.